Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. This is a quick tutorial about how to pass your road test to get your driver's license in South Scottsdale or Tempe at the DMV, which is on McKellips and Hayden, just off the 101 in McKellips. So first, before you go, make sure that you have at least 30 to 40, hopefully 50 to 100 hours of driving experience with your permit before you go try to take this test. The state will allow you to get your license with a little bit minimal hours of experience driving, but honestly, you want more than that. Phoenix is not a particularly safe or easy town to drive in, and you're going to want a lot of experience before you go out here with all these crazy people. So I'm going to pull into the DMV here. The second thing you always want to do too is make sure that you're good at parking, that you're good at parking nose in and backing in and parallel parking. And if you don't know how to parallel park, there's 1,000 videos on YouTube about parallel parking. There's one way that I used to do it, which I'll make a video about later, but as long as you get it in the box, there's quite a few different ways to do it. They're all a bunch of small variations on the same model. So this parking lot is a directional parking lot, meaning there's a driveway that goes in and a driveway that goes out, and you don't want to accidentally go the wrong way on this. They're very clearly marked with a bunch of one-way signs and arrows. Also, you have to make sure that your blinkers work, that your headlights work, that your speedometer works, that your horn works. Make sure everything in your car works and you don't have a bunch of burned out bulbs or anything. This red car that was just in front of me, I just followed them through the test after they just passed their 3-point turn. So I'm now going to demonstrate to you the route that they just took, and I'll show you everything you need to know to not screw up and lose all your points. So the first thing you can lose a lot of points for on this test is speeding in a parking lot. And if you don't know what the speed limit is in a parking lot, it's 10. It's not 15, it's not 25, it's 10. So make sure you go really slow. There's no reason to go fast through a parking lot. All that does is put people and their kids in danger because there's a bunch of blind spots behind each one of these cars. So, assuming that you passed your parallel parking part, which takes about 30 seconds on that test, now you can come out this little driveway to the end of the parking lot, and there's this big cul-de-sac, this big circle of pavement here. First thing you want to know, there's a stop sign, and at this stop sign is a driveway that goes through, right here, through my street. I have to stop before this little sidewalk strip, and then if no one's walking, I'm allowed to pull out to the nose onto the street so I can see better and make my turn. But I always make complete stops at the stop signs, and you want to do that too. If you make an incomplete stop, that's 10 points off, and that's a lot of points. You can't afford to lose a whole bunch of points in this test. Since this street doesn't have a speed limit sign, it's going to have a default speed limit of 25, like every road in Arizona that's not marked. We're going to make our first right turn at the stop sign up here. Now, if there's ever lines on the ground at a stop sign, you have to stop before the lines. This one doesn't have any lines on the ground, but what I'm going to do is stop when I pass the stop sign. And now I'm going to put my nose up to the lateral curb line, which I'll demonstrate in a second with these little captions here. So you got to get your nose all the way out here at a little bit of an angle, and then when you can see down the road that it's clear, you can make your turn. Now this time there's road work and construction that's cutting the road down to one lane. If the road work isn't here when you're doing your test, just make sure that you make sure the 2 closest lanes to you are clear before you go out there. Don't ever turn right next to other traffic. If the car is in the middle lane, don't pull into the first lane right next to somebody. A, it scares people, and B, they can change lanes without you noticing and hit you while you're turning. So now this road has a speed limit posted of 45, but there's a lot of road work, so I'm going to go a little bit less. Now, it'd be a lot more reasonable and prudent to go slow around this stuff, especially when there's people working by the side of the road right here. So I'm going to slow down to about 25 as I go around this stuff, and I'm going to kind of hug that bike lane line. No DMV employee in their right mind is going to mark you down for hitting that bike lane line if you're just moving over to allow more room for people working on the side of the road. Never just fly past people like that at full speed. Arizona, like all states, has a move over law where if you just blow right by somebody that's pulled over on the side of the road with their hazard lights on or any vehicle with lights on it, you can get a minimum fine of $180. So here I'm going to do a right on red first at Curry. A right on red has 3 parts. You must stop before the lines like a stop sign. Now I can look around and see that ahead of me and to the right there's nothing in the crosswalk, everything's clear, no one's turning into my path. So I make a right turn only into the closest lane. It is illegal to turn right into a different lane than that. This road has a speed limit of 40. So I'm just going to go ahead and efficiently get up to 40. I'm not going to floor it or like try to rush up to 40. I'm just going to take it easy. You want to drive as smoothly as possible to impress that DMV employee, to make you think that you're ready to go. They don't want to see no jerky, hard accelerating or hard braking. You want to smooth everything out. This is why a lot of hours of driving are important, because all those rough edges go away after the first 30 or 40 hours for most people. So next we're making a right turn at this first stoplight, and you can tell this is so far a pretty easy test. Like all road tests in Arizona, this one is a complete joke. It's just a bunch of right turns, no left turns, no freeway. This is all you got to do to get a driver's license here. It's like 5 minutes long of driving around the neighborhood. So again, I'm making my full stop before the lines. Now I'm going to look over there on the left. I can see some cars are coming. So I'm going to stick myself up to the line, and while I'm waiting, the light just turns green. So if it's green, as long as there's no one in the crosswalk and there's no freak accident, no reason why you shouldn't go, then you can just go if it's green. Now this road, they do have cars parked on the side of the road, and I saw something pretty incredible up here. There's a lot of tweakers in this area, and here's one feat of tweaker engineering right here on the side, right in front of this truck. You can see that huge mess of like 3 bicycles tied together with a bunch of weird stuff on it. So you do have to watch out for jaywalkers. Quite a few tweakers have ran out on the road in front of me while I was in this area. And since this is a residential area, and I did not notice a speed limit sign on this road, I can assume that the speed limit is going to be the default of 25. It might be 30 or 35, but honestly, who cares? There's no reason to be rushing on your test. If the opinion of the DMV employee is that you're going too slow on this road or holding up traffic, they'll mark you down 2 points off. And 2 points is really not a big deal if you think about it. I actually did see a sign that says 35 on this road, so I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to continue up to like 32 or 33. There's really no traffic behind me, there's nobody in front of me, I don't have to rush it at all. Now you're going to come up to your final right on red. And this test is really just about making sure that you know how to do a right turn on red. It's not really judging your safety or passing or lane changing ability or any of your observational skills. It's just super, super, super easy. My opinion is that this is the easiest one in the city now. I've seen pretty much all of them, and I have never seen one that is this short and easy. So again, I'm making my full stop at the line now. I'm edged forward up to the lateral curb line, and I can see that there's cars coming. This guy has his blinker on like he's going to turn, but I'm not just going to trust that blinker because I don't know that guy. And you might just be like, psych, and turn his blinker off and hit me. So as soon as he does start his turn, then it's clear. Now I can go ahead and make my turn. So again, another 40. Pretty much the same thing on every road here. Just go up to 40. Don't hug the bike lane line. Don't hug the center line. Those are points off. Really, the only thing you can fail this test for is running a stop sign or making one of those rolling stops where you never actually stop. Make sure you always make complete stops. And the other thing you can really fail for is speeding. I don't know really how you could, because it's all kind of a neighborhood environment, so you should know to go slow, but here's someone speeding right next to me. That's a good way to fail your test, and a good way to get the attention of the police and get lots of big expensive tickets, and a lot of really effective way to waste a lot of gas. Because as you can see, there's just a red light, and it's just the most pointless, embarrassing kind of typical Arizona driver that you're going to see up there. Now I'm stopping, and over here on the right, there's a little driveway, so I'm going to stop back here and not block it. That is something you should always do if there's traffic at a light. If an emergency vehicle needs to get in or out of that parking lot and you're blocking it, you can potentially impede the treatment that person might need, and it's just good manners. So another right on red here. Now I can see across the street they have a green arrow, so I'm not even going to bother pulling out in this crosswalk because I can see I can't go. I got to wait for these 3 cars to turn. As they turn, I can now move up and look to my left and to my right, and I can see the crosswalks, and the oncoming traffic is none, so we're good. And then you just turn right back into the DMV here, which I'm going to use my signal about 5 seconds before I do this. I like to use my blinker a little earlier than that in real life to avoid getting rear-ended by someone that's texting and driving. There is someone on a bicycle way back there, but he's not in the crosswalk at the time that I'm going, so I'm going to turn in front of that bike. And then you just go back to the DMV parking lot and follow the directions of the employee at the DMV that will tell you where to park your car and or how to park the car. They might even tell you what spot, who cares? Just make sure that you're good and solid with your parking, make sure you don't speed, and that you make full stops. So I need to make a left up here, but I can see this black truck has already came out, and they have the right of way because they're going straight and I'm turning. So I'm just going to wait and yield until they get out of the way, and now I can go. And again, just go slow in the parking lot, watch out for pedestrians, make sure your parking skills and your parallel is tight before you go do this. Also make sure that you're comfortable driving, and also don't Don't drive with one hand. Make sure you have both hands on the wheel. They don't require you to hold the wheel at 10 and 2. As long as you have 2 hands on the wheel, you can do 3 and 9, 8 and 4, who cares? Just have 2 hands on the wheel, and make sure that you're wearing closed-toed shoes. Most of these places will require that you can't wear flip-flops or anything. Other than that, make sure you practice this a lot, and good luck, and be safe.